Have you ever noticed how the atmosphere in a room shifts when someone simply steps back and stops responding? It's like the calm before a storm, a sudden pause that throws everything into question. Imagine your radio always tuned in to every frequency. What happens when you finally switch off? People around us often take for granted our constant availability, expecting us to be their emotional echo chamber, their immediate refuge. But what if the moment you stop being that predictable signal, the whole dynamic flips? When you pull away, not out of fear or avoidance, but from a place of quiet power, you unsettle the familiar patterns. Think of yourself as a river that has been flowing tirelessly, feeding every thirsty plant along the banks. But rivers can dry up if they don't recharge. What if reclaiming your silence is the first step toward replenishing your strength and rewriting the way others perceive you? This is not about shutting down, but about reclaiming your space and transforming the energy around you. Have you ever felt as if your emotions are not entirely your own, but puppeteered by unseen hands? Picture this. You're a marionette on a stage, your strings pulled delicately and invisibly by those around you. Every smile, every sigh, every sharp word is a movement choreographed not by your own will, but by the expectations and manipulations of others. This invisible control works through the simplest of actions, your immediate reactions. When you respond too quickly to provocation, when you constantly justify yourself or bend to others' demands, you hand over your personal power bit by bit, like water slipping through clenched fingers. Imagine water flowing freely in a stream, shaping the landscape with gentle persistence. Now, picture that same water trapped in a narrow channel, forced to rush and turn abruptly, losing its natural rhythm. Your emotions, when hijacked by automatic reactions, become that constrained water, losing flow energy and direction. But here's a question. What if you paused before reacting? What if, instead of immediately plunging into the flood of emotional responses, you created a quiet space, a calm pool where you observe before deciding? This stillness disrupts the puppeteer's control. It's as if you've cut the strings, stepping off the stage to reclaim your autonomy. In daily life, these puppet strings can be so finely woven that you don't even notice them. They appear as persistent guilt trips, subtle provocations, or repeated cycles of misunderstanding. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free and establishing a new rhythm, one governed not by others' expectations, but by your conscious choice. Imagine your inner energy as a reservoir, a vital source that fuels everything you think, feel, and do. Now picture this reservoir slowly leaking drop by drop every time you react impulsively or engage in draining conflicts. At first, the loss is barely noticeable, but over time, the reservoir runs dangerously low. Each time you dive headfirst into emotional battles or strive to appease others, you spend more than you replenish. It's like running a marathon without pausing for water. Eventually, exhaustion takes over, leaving your mind clouded and your spirit depleted. Have you ever ended a day feeling utterly worn out? Not just physically, but as if your very essence has been sapped. This isn't just fatigue, It's a deeper depletion of psychic energy, the subtle force that powers your clarity, resilience, and peace. Think of your energy like a candle's flame. If you keep blowing on it with every gust of emotional turmoil, it flickers precariously, threatening to extinguish. But if you shield that flame, choosing when and where to let your energy flow, you create a steady light that can guide you through the darkest nights. What if instead of surrendering to every emotional tide, you learned to conserve your strength? How would your life change if you became the master of your own energy rather than its victim? Visualize your mind and body as an intricate symphony orchestra, each instrument playing its part in perfect harmony. Now imagine one section persistently out of tune, overwhelmed by relentless demands and tension. The melody falters, discord spreads, and the once beautiful harmony starts to break apart. Being constantly available isn't just a mental challenge, it silently gnaws away at your physical health too. The chronic stress of being perpetually on call tightens your muscles, disrupts sleep patterns, and chips away at your immune defenses, transforming your body into a battleground of fatigue and fragility. Have you ever ended a hectic day feeling not just tired, but drained to your very core? Heart racing, muscles tense, mind restless, and yet unable to find true rest. This is your body, waving a red flag signaling that the constant strain of attending to others is wearing you down beyond the surface. Think of your system like a smartphone running too many heavy apps simultaneously. The battery warning blinks repeatedly, but you ignore it, pressing on until the device slows, glitches, and finally shuts down. Your mind and body behave in the same way when pushed beyond their limits by endless emotional availability. So what is the true cost of this non-stop presence? More than exhaustion, it's a gradual erosion of vitality, leaking into every corner of your life. And the most troubling part, often we only realize it once the orchestra falls silent. Imagine your psyche as a delicate ecosystem where every thought, feeling, and action draws from a finite energy reserve. Carl Jung taught us that this psychic energy is not infinite. It's a precious currency that must be spent wisely. The question is, are you the steward of this energy or a reckless spender? Think of yourself as the captain of a ship navigating turbulent seas. Each emotional reaction you give is like lowering your sails to the wind, letting external storms dictate your course. But what if you held the power to raise or lower those sails at will, to choose when to harness the winds of others' expectations and when to anchor yourself in calm waters? Jung's insight reveals that we often give away our energy through automatic responses, unconscious habits, and the need to please. But there is a transformative freedom in becoming aware of this flow and learning to redirect it. Instead of being pulled by every current, you can chart your own path. Consider this: how much of your energy do you allow others to control? How often do you react without pause, losing the chance to choose? The act of consciously preserving and directing your psychic energy is the key to self-mastery. It turns you from a mere reactor into a deliberate creator of your reality. Have you ever felt like you're trapped in a delicate dance where the steps change without warning and you're constantly trying to keep up? Manipulation often works this way. A subtle, shifting choreography designed to keep you off balance. Imagine manipulators as skilled illusionists, expertly casting shadows that distort your perception of reality. They don't need to raise their voices. Their power lies in the quiet ways they pull at your emotions, sow doubt, and exploit your kindness. How can you spot these invisible strings? Look for patterns of guilt that wrap around you like a heavy cloak, or moments when confusion clouds your judgment. Are you often exhausted after interactions that leave you apologizing or justifying yourself? These are signs of someone steering your energy without your consent. Setting boundaries is like drawing a map for this dance clear lines that guide your movements and protect your space. It's not about building walls to shut others out, but erecting fences to keep harmful weeds at bay, while letting sunlight and fresh air nurture your growth. Ask yourself, where have you let these boundaries blur? What small steps can you take to redraw them firmly? Recognizing manipulation and responding with thoughtful limits transforms you from a passive participant into a confident guardian of your own well-being. Imagine standing in the heart of a bustling city, yet enveloped in a bubble of profound silence. Around you, noise and chaos whirl uncontrollably, but within this quiet space, there is a deep well of strength. Conscious silence is not mere absence of sound. It is an active force, a deliberate choice that reshapes your presence in the world. When you choose to hold back your immediate reactions, you create a sanctuary of calm amidst the storm. This silence becomes a mirror reflecting not just what others project onto you, but revealing your own clarity and control. Have you ever noticed how sometimes saying nothing says more than 1,000 words? Think of silence as a fortress, its walls shielding you from the barrage of emotional triggers and pointless arguments. It requires courage, not weakness, to stand firm without firing back or defending yourself incessantly. In that stillness, you reclaim sovereignty over your emotional landscape. What if the true mastery of your inner world lies in knowing when to speak and when to hold your peace? In embracing this power, silence transforms from a perceived void into a dynamic presence, one that commands respect, invites reflection, and fosters genuine connection. Imagine stepping away from a bustling marketplace where you were once the favorite vendor, always there to meet every demand and expectation. Suddenly, your stall stands empty, your familiar customers confused and searching elsewhere. This feeling of withdrawal often brings with it a profound sense of loss and solitude. Choosing to become less available can feel like a tree, shedding its leaves in autumn exposed and vulnerable, standing bare against the cold wind. Yet this process is vital. It allows the tree to conserve energy and prepare for new growth when the time is right. Have you ever been labeled as distant cold or selfish when you began to set boundaries? Such reactions reflect others' discomfort with change, not your true nature. When you stop playing the expected role of constant availability, you unsettle those who thrived on your presence. But within this loss lies an opportunity. As the dust settles, a quieter, more authentic space emerges, one where you are defined not by others' demands, but by your own values and desires. This journey through loneliness and misunderstanding is not a retreat, but a courageous rebirth. So ask yourself, are you ready to endure the temporary discomfort of setting limits to gain the lasting freedom of self-respect and inner peace? The path to reclaiming your true self begins with saying no to what no longer serves you. Life often places us at a crossroads between two paths, one paved with constant availability, the other leading toward thoughtful independence. It's like standing at the edge of a river, deciding whether to keep swimming in familiar currents or to swim upstream into uncharted waters. Choosing to be always on call might feel like the easier road. It promises connection, approval, and the comfort of being needed. But at what cost each yes you give when you mean no chips away at your true self, like stones gradually eroding a shoreline? On the other hand, embracing conscious unavailability is an act of rebellion against automatic patterns. It's stepping off the crowded path and forging your own trail, often through solitude and misunderstanding. This journey demands courage to face loneliness, judgment, and sometimes loss. Yet this is where growth happens. Like a sculptor chiseling away excess marble to reveal the statue within, distancing yourself from endless demands carves out the space to rediscover who you truly are. It's not about isolation, but about reclaiming your essence. So, what does it mean to choose yourself in a world that constantly demands your presence? It means setting priorities that honor your well-being, saying no without guilt, and recognizing that true freedom comes from owning your boundaries. In this choice lies the power to live authentically, fully, and with purpose. As the sun sets on this journey of self-awareness, imagine yourself standing at the shore of a vast ocean. Behind you lies the familiar land of constant availability, comfortable but draining. Ahead, the open waters of conscious choice beckon, filled with the promise of renewal and strength. What will you choose? To remain tethered to the exhausting pull of others' expectations, or to unfurl your sails and navigate by your own compass? Remember, true power doesn't come from endless giving. It emerges from the courage to say no, the wisdom to protect your energy, and the grace to embrace solitude when needed. This transformation isn't a sudden leap, but a series of small steps, moments, when you pause before reacting, when you choose silence over noise, when you honor your own boundaries. Each step builds resilience and carves a path toward a life where you are no longer a captive of others' demands, but the architect of your own peace. So now, I invite you to reflect. How often do you give away your energy without realizing? What changes could happen if you began to guard it fiercely? Take a breath. Look inward and decide. Your freedom starts the moment you claim your right to be unavailable. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights on mastering your inner strength. If you found value in this video, please like and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us how you're learning to set boundaries and reclaim your energy. Together, let's build a community committed to breaking free from endless availability and embracing the power of conscious choice.